Extended Read 1. Remember to annotate as you read.
Volcanoes by Brett Kelly. At first glance, Naples appears to be like any other bustling European city. Tucked along the west coast of Italy, Naples has a picturesque bay to the west and a majestic mountain rising to the east. Look closer, however, and you will see that the nearby mountain is in fact Mount Vesuvius, a very large, active volcano. When it erupted in 79 CE, it rained poisonous gases, rock, ash, and scalding hot lava down on the surrounding cities and their inhabitants. What causes violent volcanic eruptions like this? The answer lies deep within Earth.
Mount Vesuvius. Naples. Italy is home to Europe's only active volcano. Mount Vesuvius erupted most recently in 1944. Crust. Upper mantle. Lower mantle. Outer core. Inner core.
Earth's layers. The surface of Earth is always changing because of its structure. Earth is made up of 4 different layers: the crust, the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. The crust, or solid outer shell, is the thinnest of the 4 layers, and it is the one we live on. The crust is formed from giant slabs or plates of rock. These plates fit together like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Together, they float on another layer called the mantle. The mantle is the layer that surrounds Earth's core or center. It is about 2,900 kilometers, 1,800 miles deep. The mantle is divided into 2 sections. The upper mantle is composed of cold, dense rock. The lower mantle is made of partially molten rock that flows. This is the area that causes the shifting of the tectonic plates just below Earth's surface, creating volcanoes and earthquakes. The next layer is Earth's outer core, which is made up of very hot liquid, molten lava. The outer core is about 4,800 kilometers, 3,000 miles, beneath the surface of Earth. The inner core is even deeper. It is a solid ball made of metals. The heat and pressure inside Earth are so great that solid rock is constantly melting and forming liquid magma. Because the liquid magma is lighter than solid rock, the magma rises and the solid rock sinks. Some magma cools as it rises, becoming solid rock and sinking again. Other magma remains liquid and collects in underground chambers. When the heat and pressure build in these chambers, the magma is pushed through cracks in Earth's surface. The result is a volcanic eruption. Magma that is erupted through cracks in Earth's crust is called lava.
Lava, ash, gas, and steam erupt. The cone shape of a volcano is the result of past eruptions that pushed rock up into this form. Hot melted rock, called magma, rises from the magma chamber, making tubes called pipes along the way. Some magma goes straight up the volcano and out the top. Some magma escapes through the side vents in the volcano.
Plate boundaries. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, there are 7 major plates on Earth, subdivided into smaller plates. As these plates float, they slowly slide past each other, spread apart, or collide. Where 2 plates meet is called a plate boundary. Most volcanoes occur at plate boundaries. Vesuvius, for example, is part of a line of volcanoes that formed over the boundary between the African and Eurasian plates. Some volcanoes, however, occur at the interior of plates. These spots are thought to be especially hot regions in Earth's mantle that spew magma onto Earth's surface. These areas are called hot spots. Pico do Fogo, for example, sits on the African plate and is therefore considered a hotspot volcano. Hotspots can create entire chains of islands like those forming the U.S. state of Hawaii.
Pico do Fogo, a hotspot volcano, last erupted in 1995.
Volcanoes can be found on land and along the ocean floor. Volcanic eruptions on land can create mountains or form craters that become lakes. Volcanic eruptions underwater may cause a sea or lake to boil. Deep sea eruptions can also form islands over time. Some volcanoes are dormant or sleeping. That means they haven't erupted for a long time. Others are extinct and will never erupt again. Volcanoes that are erupting now or have erupted in recent times, such as Vesuvius or Fogo, are referred to as active volcanoes. Today, Earth has about 1,500 active volcanoes on dry land. Another 10,000 volcanoes can be found along the ocean floor. Most volcanic activity happens along the boundary of the Pacific Plate. Scientists call this circle beneath the Pacific Ocean the Ring of Fire. It is most active because the Pacific Plate is huge. When it collides with other plates, the edges of the other plates buckle and compress. The result is a higher rate of earthquakes and volcanoes.
Crater lakes. On the island of Flores in Indonesia, a volcano has created 3 crater lakes that change colors. The lakes can appear green, blue, black, or red, depending on the release of underground gases. A street in Pompeii.
Famous eruptions. The most famous volcanic eruption in history occurred at Mount Vesuvius in Italy in 79 CE. Pompeii and 2 neighboring towns were wiped out within just a few hours. As many as 16,000 people are believed to have died as their homes were buried under layers of rock and ash. The eruption sealed the region as if in a time capsule for more than 1,700 years. It wasn't until the 18th century that archaeologists uncovered the lost cities again. They found people and their pets preserved in white, ashy casts. Also preserved were the remains of homes, fountains, and a theater. Even the fresco paintings decorating some walls were preserved. We have learned much more about this ancient time from uncovering Pompeii than we have from other cities that aged normally. Most rocks that erupt from Vesuvius are andesite, a type of volcanic rock that creates explosive eruptions. This makes Vesuvius an especially dangerous and unpredictable volcano. According to a geologist at the Field Museum in Chicago, when those kinds of volcanoes erupt, they tend to erupt explosively. The huge explosions create columns of gas, ash, and rock that can rise dozens of kilometers into the atmosphere. The kind of eruption that occurred on Mount Vesuvius is described as Plinian, named for Pliny the Elder, a Roman nobleman who died as a result of the 79 CE volcano eruption. More recently, another Plinian eruption occurred in the Philippines. Mount Pinatubo had not had any major activity for 500 years, but in the spring of 1991, there were minor eruptions and earthquakes. Scientists took these as signs that Mount Pinatubo might erupt, so the government ordered an evacuation of about 66,000 people. Then, on June 15, 1991, Mount Pinatubo did erupt. More than 850 people died. The death toll would have been much higher without the evacuation plan.
Plinian eruptions. A Plinian eruption takes its name from Pliny the Elder, a Roman nobleman and historian who died during the 79 CE eruption of Mount Vesuvius. His nephew, Pliny the Younger, wrote the only surviving description of the blast. From one of the mountaintops across the bay, Pliny the Younger noticed a cloud of unusual size and appearance. He compared the cloud's shape to that of a pine tree, for it rose to a great height on a sort of trunk and then split off into branches. This cloud was actually a poisonous column of gas mixed with thousands of tons of rock and ash blasting out of the volcano's chamber.
Living in volcanic regions. When volcanoes do erupt, they can swiftly destroy habitats, towns, and their inhabitants. They can change the landscape, knocking down trees and moving land. They can create avalanches and mud flows, which can be devastating. Eruptions have turned daylight skies to night. Some effects of volcanoes can be far-reaching. Volcanic ash clouds can affect global weather patterns. Scientists will continue to study volcanoes and their effects. In the meantime, cities near some volcanoes are improving their evacuation plans and teaching volcano safety. Some are banning new construction in hazardous areas. New satellite technology allows scientists to monitor and measure plate shifts and volcanic activity from outer space. This could allow scientists to better predict volcanic eruptions in the future.